Oh boy. Let's see how this live stream goes. Let's see how this goes, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, where you hiding? Where you hiding? Where you hiding? I decided to have a little fun today. You know, make a list of how desperate your NFL teams are going to be to win a Lombardi trophy and where I should rank them as far as how bad your team needs to win a Lombardi trophy. This is going to be pretty cool. This is the first time I've ever done a tier list like this, and I think I'm going to have some fun with this. First of all, give me 1 second, y'all. I gotta for sure doing something right here. All right, let's see. Let's put it on full screen real quick. Let's go over the categories. So basically, if you're at the top of the list, your team is right where they are. They're in the limelight of, the franchise history. They're spoiled. But if you're at the very bottom of the list, you're probably the most desperate team out there. But let's go over the categories. We got the spoil category. We got the still relevant category, which is kind of like, okay, well, we've won a title recently, and we're looking for another one. Gen Z still remember me. That's pretty much, okay, well, our title's still kind of dated, but we do need one. Hurry up, franchise. Time's ticking. Basically, it's been a while. It's been probably over a couple decades or whatnot. So I really need a title out of y'all because I really don't want to be a generational curse. And speaking of generational curse, these are teams. Oh my God. Well, curses. Curses, man. Curses. And obviously, the category you don't want to be in is I need it now. Basically, your team doesn't have a freaking Super Bowl, or basically, it's been a very, very long time since your team has won it all. And basically, they probably weren't counted as Super Bowls. Yeah, so on and so forth. I guess I explained the categories kind of well, but let's hop right into it. I guess we're going to start with the Buffalo Bills. Wait, before we do that, let's take a quick shout out to the chat here. No Chiefs, Titans, Texans, or Colts. I'm good. Yeah, man. Sorry. We got to go over all 32 teams. 2023 was the worst NFL season. Man, I agree. Niners were in the Super Bowl. Big Nate, where you hiding? Jordan Trask, where you hiding? We got everybody coming through. They're wondering where I'm going to put their NFL teams as far as, desperation for NFL teams needing a Lombardi trophy. But Noel Jimenez, I knew you make it. But let's get started here, folks. The Buffalo Bills, let's see here. The Buffalo Bills, where should I put them? The Buffalo Bills, they haven't won a title. They've been around since the early 1960s. I want to say 1960 to be exact. They were one of those teams back in the 60s where they needed O.J. Simpson, and we didn't get them because we started winning at the last minute. And I was as a fan, of the Eagles, obviously, I would have been very upset in the 60s, and I would have threw snowballs at Santa too. But going back to the most recent history, dating back to 30 years or so later, I would say probably put them in the I need it now. And to kind of explain why I'm putting them there is they lost 4 consecutive Super Bowls. And I really feel like a team that has been so desperate for like Super Bowls for a very long time since the 60s. I got to turn the phone off. A team that's been very desperate since like the 60s and the 90s where they were really close 4 times. And they were really close versus the Giants. We're going to get to them later. The NFC East, I'm going to cover them last. I really feel like the Bills, they desperately need that now to get them over the hump. I really feel like they need that Super Bowl. Really, really desperationally need it. It is beyond a generational curse at this point. They desperately need that. Oh, my goodness. Next team we got on the tier list, the New England Patriots. Come on, man. Come on, man. The New England Patriots, come on. That's a no-brainer. We're going to put them in the spoiled category. We already know about the whole story about Tom Brady. Forget everybody else like Gronk and Amendola or the Troy Branches of the world or the Deion Branches of the world or the Teddy Bruschies of the world. Tom freaking Brady. That's really all that it comes down to as far as the Patriots, though. The Patriots, nah, there's no way that they're not spoiled. They've only been on a drought for like what, 5 years? It's been 5 seasons for them since they won their last Super Bowl. Too much history as far as Brady. You know, they've won 6 titles over 20 years. Belichick is now gone, so I'm interested in seeing what their journey is going to be like without Mr. Bill Belichick. We already saw what it was like without Tom Brady. They ended up suffering a little bit. But I'm going to put the Patriots in the spoiled category. The New York Jets. Oh, my God. Another poverty team. I don't want to put them in I Need It Now. Kind of going over their history. They really don't have any fans. What up, Bones? What's going on, man? Where should I put the Jets? I really should put them. I'm going to put them in a generational curse because although they've won a Super Bowl, I really think that it's a generational curse. I really do. Like, what have they won since Joe Namath? I mean, they haven't won anything. The farthest they've ever gone, the farthest they've ever gotten was with some quarterback. They call him the butt fumble. His name is Mark Sanchez, where they've made it to 2 consecutive AFC championship games and lost both of them to the Colts. And I'm having a brain freeze on the other team that they lost to in the AFC championship game. I'll think about it later. But they desperately need a Super Bowl. Desperately. Badly. Next team on the list, and we're going to finalize the AFC East here, is the Miami Dolphins. What up, Jordan Francis? The Bills deserve a Super Bowl ring. And I got Bills fans that know I need a Super Bowl trophy. Wait a minute, you're the Chiefs fan. I mistakenly called you a 49ers fan. Thank God your team won the Super Bowl. We beat Brady twice, but we have a 12-year drought. Yeah, I'm going to get to the Giants later. We're getting closer to the Jaguars, Jaguar man. But let's see. The Dolphins, where would I put them? I'm going to be generous and put them in the times ticking because at least they've won back-to-back Super Bowls back in the 70s. They're the only team in NFL history with a perfect season. That is a big deal. That's one of the reasons why I got to put you in times ticking because, yeah, your Super Bowl's kind of dated almost as much as the Jets is. But at least y'all won back-to-back. Y'all have something to remember, something to tell y'all grandkids about. You know, I know you haven't won it all since Good Times came on and they was airing and all those 70 shows. But at least you've been to a Super Bowl. The most recent Super Bowl they've been in was in '84, and they lost that to Joe Montana. That's the most recent one, and I hate to throw my dad under the bus, but he is kind of a side Dolphins fan, so it would make my dad happy that his second team would win it all. Just saying, for Dolphins fans' sake. But what is your overall assessment on the AFC East so far? That's basically where I got them at. Let's see these comments real quick. Steelers still relevant. That's the next team I'm going to go over. I'm going to have to say still relevant. I'm going to have to agree with Bones on this. They're still relevant. They've got 6 titles to hang on to. I might have to change my mind about this. I would say spoiled, but they have to win another title. They have to win another title just sometime soon in order for me to get them out of that still relevant category. But as far as the Steelers' history, I was watching a video over their first dynasty where they won 4 titles in 6 years. They're probably the only team that could say they have 3 dynasties in their name. They got the one from the 70s, they got another one from the 70s, and they got another one in the 2000s where they won 2 out of the past 3 years. And no, 2 out of the past 4 years? Yeah. It was one in 2005 and one in 2008. Yeah, so those 2 seasons. I'm going to put the Steelers in the still relevant category. The Cleveland Browns, who have never won a Super Bowl, who have been around since, forever. They haven't won a title since the Jim Brown days. Rest in peace to his soul. They haven't won a title, period, since 1964. Those were called NFL championships back in the day, the Jim Brown days. They've just been cursed over and over. And when I think about the Browns, I think of the Ernest Biner days in the 80s. Looking at the highlights of those where they came close. Oh man, they were so close to getting that touchdown with Ernest Biner, but he fumbled on the goal line. And as an outsider looking in, I'm kind of like, man, I feel bad for the Browns. So they're one of those teams that desperately need it now. I need it now. I need it now. It's my money and I want it now. And I need it now. Yeah, this team, hella desperate. The Browns, that's a category I would definitely put them in. It's way beyond generational curse. Nowadays, you talk about the Jim Couches of the world, the Tim Couches of the world. You talk about, the dream team that they had in 2016, and they still didn't make the playoffs. Had a good run with Baker Mayfield, getting them their first playoff win in however long, since the 80s. And got them their first playoff berth since 2002 and got a playoff win after that, but then got hoed by the Kansas City Chiefs the very next round. And ever since then, they got a good story with Joe Flacco, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with Joe Flacco, moving forward, and guys like Denzel Ward. It's a very interesting team, but what it would mean to the city, it would mean a lot considering – I don't know. They haven't won shit since 2000. No, not 2000. The 1960s. It's a good thing for the city, though, that the Cavs have done something with LeBron in them. But let's see. The Cincinnati Bengals. Dashy would be able to tell me, but how long have they been around? They've probably been around since the 1960s. I'm going to have to agree with Bones again. They're in the same category as the Browns and the Bills. They need it now. They absolutely need it now. I'm having so much fun with this, y'all. I'm glad y'all tuned into this. Make sure y'all hit that like button, though. Heard Falcons about to desperately hard. Oh, Noel's got that in the time's ticking category. Nah, I got to put them in. I need it now. Everything that's happened between the Perfect event, all those years of Marvin Harrison. No, not Marvin Harrison. What the fuck was his name? The coach that used to coach for his last name was his first name was Marvin something. It was Marvin something. I forgot the name of the head coach, but so many years of going to the playoffs, being one and done with that coach. You did a good deed that one year in 2017 when we won a Super Bowl for the Bills, where they haven't made it since at that time, since Britney Spears came out with her debut album. The Bengals, they're doing a lot of great things with Joe Burrow. I really wish they would get an O-line so they can have a chance at winning a Super Bowl. Their fans, loyal as fuck. I've seen a lot of their fans. I've even gone back and forth with a couple of their fans. The Sporting Voice, I've had a beef with him to start off our relationship, as far as oh my God, well, the Eagles are a curse. They're not going to do nothing with Jalen Hurts. He's new. And I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck are you talking about? And then, we just, slowly started talking more and, we got along. So their fans are nice. I like if we don't win the Super Bowl, the Bengals would be probably my first choice to win the Super Bowl because they haven't done shit. That's the team that desperately needs it now. And last but not least, from the AFC North, we have the Baltimore Ravens, who were just let down in the AFC North. I'm going to put them in the Gen Z still remember me category because they're not too far off from that Super Bowl, with Ray Lewis and all of them, Terrell Suggs. As far as the Ravens, they have a huge rivalry with the Steelers that I've always found interesting. When is this ambulance going to go away? Really? Anyways, Lamar, MVP. I'm glad he got his MVP over CMC and Brock Purdy. I don't really think Baltimore's that pressed to win a Super Bowl, but they would like to get one with a black quarterback like him. They've been dogging him. They've really been dogging him like Lamar ain't shit. Oh my God, he'll never win the big games. But, Lamar's in the right step. He's in the step in the right direction, I would say, because there was a time where he couldn't get to AFC Championship games, but finally he gets to one. They just need to close out that games with that silly-ass Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers was an absolute idiot in that game. Oh, my goodness. Let me see y'all thoughts real quick. So far, we've went through the AFC North, and so far we went through the AFC East. What are your thoughts so far? Let's see what's going on here. That's Gen Z, remember me? I had to make that a category because some of the Jay-Z's would be like, oh, yeah, I remember when I was a kid. I used to watch the Ravens in the Super Bowl. I used to watch this team in the Super Bowl. They won it all back then. Yeah, that's the perfect category for teams like Baltimore or maybe the Giants, which I'm kind of thinking about. But, yeah, I had to come up with that category. He says those cops are about to lock him up, Hein. Maybe it isn't an ambulance. Titans fans with bloody tampons. Oh, yeah. Let's get to the Titans, though. The Titans, I'm going to also include the Oilers in this one. Should I put them in the I need it now category, or should I put them in the generational curse? Man, this is tough. The Titans is actually tough because they've been around a lot more than, let's say, the Texans or Jaguars have. Let's see. I'm going to put the Titans in generational curse. Generational curse. I might regret this decision. If you go back to the 70s when they were the Oilers, there was this playoff game that really sticks out to me where it was like versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was a play where a wide receiver clearly caught the touchdown, but the referee said it was incomplete. He didn't have 2 feet. But there was no such thing as instant replay or challenging that type of stuff back in the day because there was no instant replay. There was also, curses like the 1 yard short thing. You had your good times like the Music City Miracle versus the Bills. Sorry, Bills. You beat the Jaguars in the AFC Championship game that year, even though they had only 2 losses that year. So I'm going to really put this in the generational curse category. Let's see. Up next is the Houston Texans, the youngest team in our current NFL history. I'm going to be nice to the Texans. I'm going to put them in a times ticking category because they're really not that old. I'm older than this team, for Christ's sake. I'm older than the Jacksonville Jaguars, for Christ's sake. The Texans, they got a good quarterback. They've never been past the divisional round yet. Even with the likes of Watt, who's going to be in the Hall of Fame someday, and Andre Johnson. Oh my God, didn't he just go to the Hall of Fame? Isn't that the Texans' first Hall of Famer or something? I don't know, but I like the fact that the Texans ended the Ohio State curse, which is quarterbacks that come into the league, they don't do very well at all, and they're out of the league quickly. They ended that curse with C.J. Stroud. So shout out to the Texans for that. Let's see. I call him Queen Henrietta. His name is Queen Henrietta. He wears a betta. Okay, never mind. No more making up songs. Where you hiding? Jags choked big time in 99. Yeah, they did. Man, screw those Texans. All right, next team. The Indianapolis Colts. Man. You know what? I'm going to put them right up next to with the Ravens. I'm going to put them right next to the Ravens right here. I think that's a perfect spot. I think some Gen Zs who are probably in college, just starting college freshman year, maybe sophomore year, junior year, something like that, college kids. They probably remember that Super Bowl when they were little babies. They were probably like, okay, Peyton Manning. Yeah, that's the easy one to remember. You know, we finally got over the curse of losing to Tom Brady in the freaking playoffs. Tom Brady is an easy one to remember. And then all throughout my childhood, we had Andrew Luck. You know, we've had good times with guys like Joseph Adai, Marvin Harrison. His son's about to be drafted in the NFL, by the way, by a lucky team. But when I think about the Colts, I think about it's hard not to think about Peyton Manning. You also think about Jeff Saturday. Man, Reggie Wayne. Yeah, so they got 2 titles in their history. You know, I ain't mad at the Colts. But rounding out the AFC South, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Jaguar man has been waiting for this. Probably jagging off if he's out there listening somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to put the Jaguars. This is probably, I don't know. I'm definitely not putting them in still relevant because they haven't won anything. I'm going to put them, and they're such a young team too. I can't put them in I Need Now. I can't put them in a generational curse because they haven't won anything. So I'm going to be fair. I'm going to put them right next to the Texans where time's ticking, just going over their history a little bit. Of course, they had Fred Taylor. They've had David Garrard. I grew up on the days of David Garrard. I grew up on the days of Maurice Jones-Drew. I don't really have any bad blood with the Jacksonville Jaguars, though. I don't know. The Jaguars, man. I just feel like they're just like a couple pieces away. They're fans I like their fans. Their fans are cool. You know, Jaguar man rocks with me. A shout out to him. Continuous shout out to him and jagging off. They're just missing a couple pieces to really get them over the top. As far as their history goes, they've been to collectively, I believe, 2 or 3 AFC championship games. Because I know they came out of their history, you know, in 1995. They came out shooting out of the cannon. Like, really, they really got off to a hot start, but they've had some really bad endings. If they can get to a Super Bowl, you never know. They might be able to get it done. But I think the Jaguars, they are kind of desperate, but they're still a young team. They're not even 30 years old yet. They will be this upcoming season. See these comments here. The Jaguar fans are all right in my books. Yeah, I like the Jaguars fan. They cool. They some all-stars. Hey, where you hiding? What's going on, Eric Wallace? Dougie P has something going. I'm cheering for Dougie P. If we don't win it all, the Jaguars are probably I just said it about the freaking Bengals earlier, but I wouldn't mind if the Jaguars win it all either, because they haven't won shit. You know, I have pity for teams like the Jaguars and the Bengals. So I wouldn't mind if y'all win it all. Anyways, going on to the AFC West. Jordan Trask in the house. I know he's been waiting for this. The Chargers, how long have they been a franchise? I got to look this up. Let me look this up on my computer. Chargers. Chargers. They just had that, 63-7 loss earlier on a Thursday night football? Oh, 63-21. So they were established in 1959. They actually been to a Super Bowl, but they've never won one. They've lost to the 49ers. Boo. Let's see. I'm going to put them in the I Need It Now section, the I Need It Now tier. Obviously, when you think about the Chargers, you think about Dan Fouts. You think about Drew Brees, who was there for a brief stint. You think about Phillip Rivers, the man who can't stop having children. You think about LT, LaDainian Tomlinson. Whoop! Do that little taunt in the end zone where he puts his arm out and then flips the football. That is iconic. If they can win it all for that sort of people, those sort of legends, that would be huge for a city that moved out from San Diego all the way to LA just because San Diego wasn't popping. But as far as championship games, how many championship games have I been to? The most recent one that I remember from the Chargers is the one where they lost to the Patriots when the Patriots had that perfect season. They lost that one, and Brady had one of his worst games of his career. It was the one where he threw 3 interceptions, but they still won 21-12 because the Chargers would kick nothing but field goals. Kansas City Chiefs, the team who just won the Super Bowl, the team who is currently 3 titles in 6 years. No way. They're definitely going into the spoiled category. Enough said about the Chiefs. That's too easy. Broncos, we got the Denver Broncos, third team from the AFC West. I'm going to put them in the still relevant category. I'm going to go ahead and put them there. I think that would be the perfect place for them. Some of the Gen Zs who really looked up to Peyton Manning, not even Peyton Manning, but Peyton Manning, but also Cam Newton, who are pissed at the fact that Cam Newton lost that Super Bowl. They think about Peyton Manning. They think about DeMarcus Ware, who, smacked the spoon from Dallas's hands and said, you know what? I want to be fed by somebody else. Feed me. Have a real winner feed me a Super Bowl ring. He went to the Broncos. The Broncos obviously have a history with John Elway. They do have a history with quarterbacks riding off into the sunset. But you know what? I don't even know if I should put them at a lower tier, because they do have the most losses in Super Bowl history with 5 or 6. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. They might have 5. They might have 6. But I'm going to put that in the still relevant category, because at least they have a title that Gen Zs can remember, but it's still kind of recent. Last but not least, the Las Vegas /Oakland/LA Raiders. I'm going to be kind of harsh on the Raiders because their owner is an idiot. They've had a history of idiocy stupidity as far as their franchise goes. This is way beyond time's ticking. They've won it all in 1983. Their last Super Bowl victory was over, it wasn't Kansas City. No, they're in the AFC. It wasn't over the Eagles because that was 1980. Who the fuck did they beat last in their most previous Super Bowl? Oh, it escapes me. It escapes me right now. It wasn't the Vikings. It wasn't the Eagles. Oh, it was the Redskins. It was the Redskins. That was the last time they won it all when Marcus Allen was there. This was a little bit after John Madden left. They haven't been to a Super Bowl since 2002. And it just seems like ever since that Tuck rule, they've been fucked. That's the reason why I put them at generational curse, because look at what happened since 2000. Look at how it's affected them. It took them so many years to make it back to the playoffs. They made it back with Derek Carr, some guy named Derek Carr, finally. But they still don't have a playoff win since 2002. That was a time where I grew up starting watching football. That was my third season watching football. And to see them just fold in front of the Buccaneers and just let that disgusting team win a Super Bowl, that was just disgusting. Shame on you, Rich Gannon. And shame on you, what's his name? Damn, the guy they let go. The guy that got caught for all those emails. John Gruden. My dad always told me that a patch should be over both eyes. Because they aren't really opening their eyes for anything anyway. But anyways, yeah, y'all get the joke. Let's see what's going on with this comment. Welcome to Atlanta, where the plays play. We almost there to the Falcons. We almost there. We're finally through our AFC teams. We're halfway through the field. Oh boy, we're getting to the Falcons, Mr. Slitta. I know he's been waiting. I saw him in the comments section just earlier. Man, this list is a lot of fun. I'm so glad I decided to do this. All right, another new nigga team. We have the Carolina Panthers, who is not very old. They've been around since, 1995, just like the Jaguars. Inception. I got to put them in the times ticking. Session because they haven't won a Super Bowl yet. They were close twice. They beat us once en route to one of their Super Bowls. The second time, they beat the woeful Cardinals, who we'll get to later. And that's how they got to their 2 Super Bowls. Now, the first one, they really should have won. That was the one versus Tom Brady, where Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake were in that fucking Super Bowl. Better have you naked by the end of this song and pull the tits out. Don't say the car is topless. Say the titties is out. Yeah, that Super Bowl. They lost that Super Bowl by 3 points. If John Casey was, oh my God, John Casey, that was a disgusting kick when the game was tied at 29 points. That was a disgusting kick. How could you kick it out of bounds? And yes, rest in peace to 8 Camel Toes. I know you're looking from above, man. Shout out to you, man. But how could you kick that out of bounds at such a crucial time? You had the likes of Steve Smith, who is one of my favorite wide receivers of all time. Very underrated. If he's not in your top 10, I don't know what's wrong with you. That's a top 10 wide receiver. Let's see. You had Ricky Manning, who had 3 interceptions versus us. Ricky Manning. Remember that name. He had a hat trick versus us the game prior to that game. Whew. And you still couldn't win the Super Bowl versus Tom Brady. That's crazy. You know what a championship would mean to Carolina? It would mean a lot for a city who had to deal with the ego of Cam Newton, especially with that routes freaking press conference where he was talking about a woman knowing routes. You had to deal with the heartbreak of Cam Newton not jumping for the football when it was on the ground. A championship like that would mean so much to Carolina. I wouldn't mind if Carolina wins the Super Bowl. Well, because we won it before them. Anyways, good luck, Panthers. Next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh my God, I have some bad blood with them, especially recently. Not so much recently, but really going back to 2002, where, the whole Black Sunday thing happened, where the Bucs have never lost to a team, never beat a team in freezing weather. They were 0-6 prior to that game. But no, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they had to win in that condition. They had to come into the Vet, where it was the last game at the Vet for the Eagles. They had to come in there where they were 0-6 in negative weather. They had to come in there with a fucking dub. Terrible. Anyways, where am I going to put the Bucs? I'm going to put them in the still relevant category. They're not exactly spoiled. They're almost there. They just have to win another title or two in order for me to put them up there. They've had the likes of underrated heroes like, what the fuck's his name? What's his name from back in the day? Anyways, I can't think of that quarterback's name. He's an unsung hero. You've had the likes of Joe Jaravicious. You have Mike Evans now. You've had Tom Brady. You've won the jackpot with him. Man, but you're almost there. You're almost there. The New Orleans Saints. JP of the New Orleans Saints. You still fair balance, sir? I hope you're getting better. I hope you're feeling better. I've heard you've been sick for the past month or so. Where would I put the Saints? I'm going to put the Saints, I'm going to be fair, I'm going to put the Saints in the Gen Z still remember me category. They've had some horrible luck with Hurricane Katrina. They've had some good times with guys like Drew Brees. It's a shame that they could only come up with one championship. It's been about, almost 15 years since they've won their last title. They can't do anything with Michael Thomas. They've had horrible – it just seems like they get cock teased every time they get to the NFC Championship game. They've lost to – if you look at their history with Drew Brees, they've lost to guys – they lost to teams like the Bears. They lost to teams like the Rams. They could always beat the Eagles in the divisional round. But somehow, some way, they got over the hurdle as far as the Vikings. They got it done versus them. So props to them for that. But in order to get to that still relevant category, you have to win a Super Bowl. You have to win a Super Bowl. It would mean a lot to the city of New Orleans. Their fans are rowdy, almost as much as the Eagles. They troll like a motherfucker. I remember when JP was going at it with Lord Brunson at one point, and Lord Brunson was calling him a mushroom. I really enjoy those times. Their fans are nuts. And I think we get to play them next year. Yeah, we do. We get to play the entire NFC South. And last but not least, this is the one where Slit has been drooling over. Whereyahidin? What do you think about the Falcons? Well, you're about to hear now. How do I feel about the Falcons? I really feel like they really need it now. There's no other way to explain it. There's no other way to explain it. What are y'all messing with Dashy for in the chat? The Falcons need it now. They just blew the biggest lead in the Super Bowl, 28-3. They've been around since 1966, I want to say. They've been through the Steve Bartkowskis of the world. They beat us in the wild card round, but ultimately failed. But if you look at most of their history, most of their success, it comes in the 2000s. You know, they've had a stint with Michael Vick. I really thought Michael Vick was really going to do something with that team. But then they ran into the Eagles. Only a brick wall could stop them. And, you know, I think between that time, we stopped the Falcons twice. I really think, how are the Falcons going to recover from losing that Super Bowl? Ever since they lost the Super Bowl, and I live here in Atlanta, so just thinking about what a championship means to the city of Atlanta, part of me says that some of their fans are just bandwagon as fuck, and they just choose to cheer for the Falcons whenever they want to. But then a part of me is like, when they actually come together and root for that team, it's going to mean so much to the city if they should ever win a Lombardi trophy. It would mean a lot that they could finally start bragging to Saints fans. They could finally start bragging a little bit to the Bucks fans, but they could really rub it in on a team who doesn't have a Super Bowl like the Panthers. They could really rub it in. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, we lost to Brady. Yeah, we lost to Peyton Manning, but so did y'all. Y'all lost to Brady and Manning too. But at least we won a Super Bowl. It would mean a lot. It would really mean a lot to the city of Atlanta. And who knows what they might do with Raheem Morris. I kind of thought that was a stupid decision. To be honest, I thought they should have went with the vet move and then pick a young quarterback from the draft and then develop that quarterback that way. You know, maybe you get a couple titles from Bill Belichick. But no, they decided to go the young route. And we'll see where it goes from there. You know, you got young, promising wide receivers. You got young weapons like freaking Pitts. I don't know what the hell y'all gonna do with the D line. You know, you guys need sacks desperately. You guys are just a lot of pieces away from, you know, a Lombardi trophy, but I think you can probably get it done. I don't know if you're gonna get it done. I don't know if you can get it done. I told Slitta many times, you're never going to win a Super Bowl. But who knows? I may be wrong. Anyways, that was the NFC South. Let's see what's going on in the comments section right here. I can't pull it up right now because I'm so occupied. You know what? I can pull it up. Let me leave this screen real quick. Let's see. Damn, I missed 31 comments. The Rising Star game is low-key boring. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but that's funny. Detroit is cursed, and I'm still mad for them letting Niners go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm furious that the Niners even went to the Super Bowl. I was rooting for them so hard to go to the Super Bowl and win it. It would have been so much of a better outcome if the Lions won a Super Bowl. But speaking of the Lions, here we are with the Lions, and we've mentioned how close they were. They've been a franchise since, probably the 1920s, probably a little bit longer than the New York Giants, or just as long. I'm going to put them in the I need it now curse. I need it now section. They haven't won anything since 1957, when their logo was looking like the Greyhound logo, except it's a lion. This is another team that I feel really bad for. And you see for their fans how much winning a playoff game has affected them. It brought tears. That's what I love about football. It brings the best out of fans. I love moments like that. Even if I hate your teams, oh my God, God forbid the Cowboys win a Super Bowl. It's going to bring out tears. Oh my God, we had to wait so many years, 30 years to be exact. Oh my God, we just go to New Orleans, win that Super Bowl. Oh man, don't get me started on the Cowboys, get them dreaming. But back to the Lions. Winning their first playoff game, and then on top of that, beating the Bucks to get to their first NFC championship game since I was born in 1991. Technically, it happened in 1992. So much quarterback change in the quarterback carousel. It's been a lot of changes. John Kitna, disgusting names like that, who have the Cowboys were cursed with. I keep dissing the Cowboys. They've let Barry Sanders walk in between that time. They've let Calvin Johnson walk in between that time. They were the kings of pissing off players so much that they would rage quit. The Lions have a bad history. And yes, to Jaguar Man, shout out to Eminem. He ignited the city to come together. And this is one of the reasons why I'm glad they had home games, and I'm glad the Dallas Cowboys lost in the first round. Obviously, because I hate them. But, you know, the other reason is I would love to see Detroit have a home game for the divisional round. And boy, did they get it. They wouldn't have gotten it if Dallas had won. But as far as their team and what they need to do to get past that threshold and finally get that Super Bowl, oh my God, they're just like a piece away. And I wish Dan Campbell would get his head out of his ass, because he definitely had a Kyle Shanahan moment. We're going to get to him as soon as we get to the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't get me started on them either. So next up, we have the Chicago Bears. And of course, I have a lot of history with, what's his name? Judah Tribe, who came on to my chat, trolling the hell out of me, saying that Jalen Hurts is not nearly as good as Justin Fields. The Gen Zs definitely don't remember him winning their title in 85. You're going to have to go to like the Gen Ys of the world, or the millennials who were born in the 80s or earlier. I'm going to put the Bears in a times taken category. I think that's a fair spot to put them. I don't know why I'm not putting them in a generational curse. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and put them in a generational curse. How on earth do you not win it all with Brian Urlacher? One of the greatest linebackers in NFL history. And he's bald. Bald, my friends. Throughout the Chicago Bears history, and this is a blatant blueprint to why the Chicago Bears are always failures. They never had a quarterback that I can remember. Sure, I can think of, Chicago QBs off the bat, Justin Fields. Oh my God, Jay Cutler, Brock Osweiler. Did Brock Osweiler? No, he didn't play for the Bears. He played for the Broncos. I'm confusing teams. Jay Cutler. There's a lot of quarterbacks. Anyways. Orton. Damn. That's the name I was thinking about. Orton. Kyle Orton. They had that guy in there, a while back. Oh, Rex Grossman. I forgot about Rex Grossman, who started in that Super Bowl versus those Colts in, what was it, 2006 to 2007, that season. I'm going to give them the generational curse. The generational QB curse. I'm going to put them there. Yeah, Rex Grossman. Up next, we have the Packers. I'm going to put them not quite relevant, but I'm going to put them right there. I think that's a fair fit. I think this is a good list so far. Gen Z still remember me. The Packers have to win a title in order to remain relevant. In my opinion, I think they got a good thing with Jordan Love. They just always seem to have the opposite Bears effect. They always seem to have. Am I off mute? Okay, good. I'm off mute. They always seem to have the opposite Bears effect. They're always able to find a quarterback, grace from God's dear heaven, I don't know how to describe it, but they always seem to be able to find a quarterback that can be able to pull them through time and time again. Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, oh fuck, man, you name it, Jordan Love. Jesus Christ, they always seem to find a quarterback. And the running backs are no slouches either. Remember the times that James Starks, fucking Ahmad. I forgot his fucking last name. Anyways, can't sleep on their wide receivers either. Jennings. Can't sleep on Jennings. You can't forget about fucking. Yeah, there's a lot of weapons. Damn, I'm losing my mind right now. But they just got a whole lot of wide receivers that I can just name off the bat that I can't right now because I'm on brain freeze. Oh my God. The Packers just seem to be in it every freaking year, no matter who their quarterback is. And aren't they one of those teams who have won it every other century? Not every other century, but every other decade. The Packers have won one. They've won a couple in the 60s. Yeah, they've had a gap. They won a couple in the 60s. They've won one in the 90s and then one in the 2000 teens. So there's a gap there. But the Packers, you're not too far from that time's ticking category. You might want to win a Super Bowl to stay relevant. Even if you do win a Super Bowl, I'm not going to put you in the spoiled just yet. You probably have to win 2 more to get spoiled. And quickly, because the Patriots are spoiled, Kansas City is spoiled. But I really think the Packers should belong there. The Minnesota Vikings, oh yeah, that's a no-brainer. Actually, I don't know if this is a no-brainer. Generational curse? No, they have nothing to live by. Put it down there on I need it now because this team this is also another team that has also lost 4 Super Bowls. They didn't lose it consecutively, just like, say the Bills. Luca Natalie. Oh, you're new. What's up? I'm going to give you a mod just because, you're in there. All right, let's mod you up, man. All right. He says the Packers have been contenders many years with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Yes, they have been. No Super Bowls for the Vikings. Skull. Foles. 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 I mean, as far as the Vikings, they are way beyond generational curse now that I think about it. They have been cursed since the 60s. Before there were Super Bowls, I want to say like 3 or 4 years into the Super Bowl era. This dude named Jim Marshall runs backwards. Thinks he has a touchdown. Nope. You ran it in there for a safety, bruh. Jim Marshall, bruh. Remember that name, ladies and gentlemen, for young cats like Jaguar Man and all them. Because I was taught this lesson by my dad personally. He used to always say, he's going the wrong way. And the stint between the 69 season and the 76 season, where they lost 4 Super Bowls, that's beyond generational curse. If you want to know a team, one of those teams that are the most cursed on this list is definitely the Vikings. Considering how long they've been around, I want to say they've been around since 62. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if you look back at that time, they haven't been to a Super Bowl since 1976. It is 2024, so that's 48 years. 48 years without a Super Bowl appearance. And I swear to God, Saints fans, you better be on your knees praising Brett Favre. Oh my God, with one of the most disgusting interceptions I have ever seen in my life. With him throwing across his body to the left, intercepted in a crucial tie game in regulation to force overtime and save the Saints from losing in regulation. And wait, ladies and gentlemen, it gets worse than that. Remember the Minneapolis Miracle? Well, before we get to that, remember the kick where they almost beat Seattle, and it was what was his name? It was Blair something. Was it Blair Walsh? I think that was his name. Where he missed the kick, and the score was 10-9. And oh my God, this was back when the Vikings were playing outside on the Gopher Stadium, the Minnesota Gopher Stadium, a Big Ten school. There's that. And then obviously the Minneapolis Miracle, where they were jumping for joy. Oh my goodness, they couldn't wait to play the Eagles. They had to come on our statue, do the little YMCA dance, as E-Rock says, and do the little skull chant. And then some days later, the NFC and in the NFC Championship game, we just troll the shit out of them by, spanking their ass and doing the Foles chant instead of the skull chant. Since that moment, the Vikings have only won one playoff game, and I believe they've been to two playoffs. They've been to the playoffs 2 times and played 3 playoff games. I know the first time they beat the Saints. I'm missing something. Yeah, the second time they lost to the Niners, I believe. And then the third time they obviously lost to the Giants. I know NYG and fucking Bones couldn't wait to say that. Oh my God, yeah, they lost to the fucking Giants last year. Yeah, where you at? Yeah. And I was so thankful that the Vikings lost that game, because it gave us an easier team to fucking play, as opposed to the Cowboys that year. We'd have an easier ride to the NFC Championship game. But what it would mean, a championship would mean to the city of Minneapolis, it would break so many hearts. It wouldn't even break hearts. It would heal so many amended wounds. It would heal. It would break so many generational curses from the 60s on down to current day. Over 60 years of waiting for some sort of championship, over 59 years of waiting for a Lombardi trophy. It would mean a lot to Minneapolis, who is a very, very humble, kind of humble, but they talk a lot of shit. I get that when their team is doing good, but when they're quiet as a mouse, you know why. I really think a championship, they really need that. They really need it desperately. They need it now. So that's why I'm putting them in that category. Seattle Seahawks. This is the moment that Noel Jimenez, shout out to him, has been waiting for. Daniel Jones stinks. He got carried by Saquon. It was 2 playoff appearances for the Vikings after we beat the brakes off of them in the NFC Championship game. Yeah, it was 2. It was 2. I don't know. I think it was 3. I'm going to have to do my research on that. Hold on. Before I move on to Seattle, I'm going to do my research here. Vikings. I hope you're right. I would love to be proven wrong here. Vikings. Da, 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 da. If y'all ever played the Lost Vikings on the Super Nintendo, you'll know where that sound came from. Vikings playoff history. Let's see here. Let's see. You're right. Ever since that game. Well, I did say they had 2 playoff appearances. Well, 2 playoff appearances, but 3 playoff games. That's what I originally said. I guess we're both right. We can both take the dub for that. It was 2 playoff games in 2019, and then we beat them in 2022. And then the Giants beat them in 2022. I'm not a Giants fan. Ugh, disgusting. Anyways, we're moving on to the Seattle Seahawks. About time I stopped stalling with that one. Noel Jimenez. Oh my God, get to the pick. I'm gonna put them. Oh my God, this is tough. Nah, I'm not gonna put them in relevant. If I'm putting the Packers here, I gotta put Seattle here. I told Noel Jimenez I would rank them fairly, and I think Gen Zs would be fair here. I think the Gen Zs would actually like to forget about this Super Bowl because this was probably one of the most boring Super Bowls of all time, unless you're a fan of Seattle or you like defense. Seattle's got it all for you. If you're a fan of those things or that team, you're going to want to forget about that Super Bowl. But the Gen Zs, they still remember that Super Bowl. Oh, yeah, I remember that Super Bowl as a kid. You know, that was one of the worst Super Bowls I've ever seen. They've had the likes of Marshawn Lynch. And if it wasn't for that certain player who didn't get the football at the 1 yard line, they would be in a still relevant category. I mean, you're like, yeah, your team is the most recent outside of Kansas City to win back-to-back Super Bowls. But no, they didn't give Marshawn Lynch the football. They had Jermaine Kearse. They had Russell Wilson when he was still in his prime, now before he's fallen off. They've had a lot of pieces. They've had, obviously, the Legion of Boom. You know, Richard Sherman talking shit and backing it up, obviously. He even talked shit on Skip Bayless and backed it up. He backs up almost every type of shit imaginable that he talks. He talks about 95% of shit he can back up. Richard Sherman is a gem. And I hated Seattle back in the day for that. I hated the Legion of Boom. I'm like, man, this team, you mean to tell me all these agents going to come out here to celebrate and we don't get our time in the sun? Really? And ultimately it happened for Seattle, fortunately for them. Oh, boy. Okay. So that's enough about Seattle. We got the Arizona Cardinals. This is way too easy. I got to put them in the I need it now category. And I think this is going to be, honestly, the last team that I put in the I need it now category. And I was laughing earlier when I picked out this logo. If you look at the logo closely, it's the old school logo of the Cardinals before they transformed and transcended into like their new logo, which they switched to back in like 2006 and stuck with it ever since. This was their logo before 2006 and before they flipped out to the NFC West. I have to go with this logo. It's kind of funny to me. I don't like the Cardinals and everything, but I got to put my biasness aside to really feel what the fans are feeling. This is the longest NFL drought. Currently, this team has been suffering since 1947. And God damn it, who was the last team they beat in an NFL championship? It was the fucking Philadelphia Eagles. They won that game 7-0. The NFL championship. Before it was called Super Bowls. And then the Eagles, a year later, would reel off an NFL championship in 1948. And then in 1949, the Eagles would reel off back-to-back NFL championships. This is the history of the Arizona/Phoenix Cardinals. They haven't done shit. They haven't done shit in the longest time, even longer than the Lions, who have the second longest drought. Since 1957 have the Lions been suffering, but 10 more years. Add 10 more years, that's the Cardinals. I grew up on the days woefully watching Larry Fitzgerald, looking back on that game. Seeing him, getting carved up in a Thanksgiving game in 2008. 2008 is where I draw most of my memories of the Cardinals at. Seeing them go to the Super Bowl, especially when they were the first 4 seed to ever host an NFC Championship game. Seeing them go after breaking, oh my God, they broke our heart so fucking bad. We were down 24-6. I remember this game like it was yesterday. I was in high school, 11th grade. I remember it just like it was yesterday. Just in high school, skinny nigga. Deshaun Jackson catching that ball that he bobbled over DRC. And we lead by 1 point. And then the Cardinals come back and they score a touchdown. They score a touchdown, get the 2-point conversion. They're up 7. All of a sudden, momentum's on their side again. And this is the game where that bastard ass Larry Fitzgerald had 3 touchdowns in the first half, a hat trick. I hate that man so much. I hate Larry Fitzgerald so much. And I'm so glad he doesn't have a ring to this day. Boy, was I relieved when they lost that Super Bowl to the Steelers. Thank you, Steelers, for once. Thank you. The one time I thank you for beating the brakes off the Cardinals, breaking their hearts at the last minute by Mr. OHIO, Mr. Santonio Holmes. Thank you. You're a hero. But after that moment, I believe the Cardinals have only had one NFC Championship game ever since. However, there is a bright side to this, Cardinals fans. It isn't all bad. You still are undefeated at home in the playoffs. That tells me how bad your playoff history is because, you're like 6-0, 7-0 in the playoffs as far as home games all time? Nah, fuck that. Nah, he ain't deserve no ring. I'm so mad at that. Oh my God, I hate him. Larry Fitzgerald, you can't deny his passion. His mother is so gorgeous. It was gorgeous to see them, celebrating, a Super Bowl appearance together, going through the emotions of being in a Super Bowl together. But still, I didn't want that bastard to have a ring. I hated him on the field. I'm sure he's a nice person off the field, though. I would never hate him as a person. But I believe they've only had one championship game appearance. They got the midget ass Kyler Murray now. They got a lot to hang their heads about as far as their history. I don't think they'll ever win a Super Bowl. And I'm kind of happy that they won't. You saying this man here, Fizz, but I put you in the still relevant category. Don't make me have to bring you down a notch to the Gen Z still remember me category. Just being generous. I'm cool with the Broncos, but still. I just don't want to end up like Chris Jones, the balls incident. Hey, yo, Fish. We should to avoid those damn Phillies, baby. Man, I'm glad y'all two came out, but Jesus Christ. Your Braves are not going to sweep us. All right, enough rambling. We got the LA Rams / St. Louis Rams. I'm going to put them in a still relevant. Category. They've had a transition where they've gone from St. Louis to LA. They've had to go through their little bright side of the New Orleans curse, where they were on the correct side of the non-call of the PI. And I forgot the dude's name who we picked up that actually committed that penalty, but he was part of our team for a season. They went to the Super Bowl. They're part of the worst Super Bowl. They're part of the worst Super Bowl, in history category. They lost to the Patriots 13-3, but then a few years later they came back and beat Joe Burrow in a thriller. one of those I would consider not top 10 Super Bowl, but I would consider it to be like top 20 Super Bowl. But the halftime show was definitely top 5. Definitely top 5 with Eminem being there. God, I love Eminem. Ugh, I'm stuttering. Eminem. But winning the Super Bowl for the Rams, I don't think it would mean much. Going back to the Cardinals real quick, I think it would mean everything to Phoenix. The entire city, state, whatever you want to think about. I really think this will mean everything to those fans out there. That organization is beyond general curses. My goodness. But going back to St. Louis / LA, it doesn't really mean much. They've won one recently within the past 3 seasons. So that's why I'm putting them in the still relevant category. They've had a stint with Jalen Ramsey, who's gotten a Super Bowl for them. They've had a stint with fucking OBJ. They still have not Sam Bradford, but Matt Stafford. And they still got Aaron Donald. I think the Rams, I thought their Super Bowl window has been closed, but obviously not. They made the playoffs this past season. They almost got it done and crushed the Lions' dreams of even getting to an NFC Championship game. But they're right there. They're right there. I really thought their Super Bowl window was closing, but it's starting to open back up, and I'm afraid of that. And last but not least, the team that has made it to the Super Bowl. Oh my God, this is fucking disgusting.
Well, that's disgusting. Well, that's disgusting. Well, that's disgusting. Well, that's disgusting.
The San Francisco 49ers, baby. We finally made it to the 49ers. This is the moment that 49er fans have been waiting on. Oh boy. Where do I put the 49ers? I'm kind of in the middle of time's ticking and generational curse. But I did the other day say that they're on the Kaepernick curse. I'm going to be harsh since y'all have been harsh to me. I'm going to put them into the generational curse as well. And there's a couple of factors that factor into this. They've been waiting for a title for 30 years now. It's going to be 30 because they just lost the Super Bowl. Obviously. They've lost 3 Super Bowls. One to the Ravens, and then their last 2 Super Bowls were versus the Chiefs, and obviously they lost both of them. It just seems like they're the cock tease. They're the cock tease versions of the Cowboys. It just seems like that to me. It just seems like that to me. They just can't get it done. They just with these game manager quarterbacks outside of Kaepernick, who was obviously a good quarterback. I'm not even going to call him a game manager, but it just seems like the 49ers just can't get over the hump with whoever quarterback they have, and Kaepernick was the best one out of all those 3. Garoppolo was obviously the worst, but they somehow were close with that one. They have the defense that was ready to just get it done. I don't know what it is. It's just the coaching. I don't know. Who was the coach in the first Super Bowl that they lost? Their first ever Super Bowl loss. Who was their coach? Shanahan was part of the last 2. Who was their first coach? Oh, Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh was their coach. They get rid of a coach who did good, who had a great season. Lets them ride off to bitch again, you know. You let Patrick Willis down. You let Frank Gore down. You let all these 49er greats, even some beyond our human eyes, like, I don't know, Joe Montana, who I haven't seen in my lifetime. You let down Jerry Rice. You let down Clark. You let down Ronnie Lott. People who have actually gotten over the hump and won it for you. people who actually have given the Gen X's of the world, people as old as freaking A-Bacon who have seen all 5 of those titles. You let them down. So I got to put them in a generational curse. I would say time's ticking, but it's been ticking. They're in a generational curse. As far as what it would mean to the city, what it would mean to the city, you've seen it in my past video where A-Bacon and, even Billy were squashing their beef to come together to root for that team. It was a beautiful thing, even though I don't like their team, but it was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing to see them squash their beef, at least for a moment. They're probably back to their beef as we know it. They probably hate their guts right now. But to see them just come together, imagine, those two coming together, imagine an entire nation of San Fran Nation, gang, Niner, bang, bang, Niner gang, dang, dang, Niner gang, whatever you want to call it. Imagine them just coming together. Imagine them winning that Super Bowl. For the sake of Billy, for the sake of A-Bomb, for the sake of whoever else is out there like CG Ruthless. Imagine that. 49 cents. Imagine them all coming together in one parade. It would mean so much to the Bay. The West Coast, the entire West Coast, except for probably the Raiders. It would mean a lot to them. Yeah, dude. I call him A-Bacon because, you could just peel off his skin and just literally put it on a skillet. I always joke with his name. I always joke about his name. I don't like him, but the Star Wars reference, Luke Skywalker got his hand cut by Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back. And then in Return of Jedi, Luke Skywalker beat Darth Vader to become a Jedi. I'm going to say this, Niners fans. As far as the past 30 years, as far as you getting to the Super Bowl 3 times, you are not the rank of master. Fucking suckers. Oh, man, I love this. And after I'm through with these 4 teams, I'm going to open up the panel, see what y'all think about, this tier list and where you think I should change my mind at. But finally, we're on to the NFC East, the NFC Beast, the fucking division with the most titles. It's glorious. We have the best division in all of football. This is the moment y'all been waiting for. Hold on, I need to hit the vape one more time because I'm going to go out of my mind as soon as I talk about all 3 of these next 3 teams. Woo! All right. The Washington Redskins football team, Commanders, Pigskins, Pigsties, Abner from fucking Hey Arnold. Yeah, Washington. I'm not going to put them in the I need it now. I got to be fair with every one of these teams. I got to put them right there with the 49ers here. The Redskins have a lot of history early on in their, inception. They've won 3 Super Bowls before they were Commanders, before they were the football team for a brief stint. They haven't won anything since 1991, and I've said it before, they've never had a season with 11 plus wins since 1991, and that's pretty fucking pathetic. Generational curses. I can't think of a more worthy team for this. Okay, maybe the Cowboys, but we'll discuss that later. As far as the Redskins, they're a mess. They're a mess. I've been saying this about Washington for years, even when I was a fucking child. Like, what's wrong with the Redskins? We're their kick toy. They're basically our kick toy. It's just that simple. Their owners are just, what the fuck are they doing? I'm glad they got rid of Dan Schneider, but their new owner ain't much better. I mean, through the year that he showed me, 4-13. Their fans are a bunch of crap. All they do is talk a bunch of nonsense that they aren't capable of. Oh, we're gonna win, we're gonna go 14-3 and then end up 4-13. Yeah, we're not gonna mention any names about the fan base or whatnot, but I really feel like this is a very good spot to put Washington. And speaking of the fans, I really think their fans have disappeared gradually over the years. There used to be a lot of fans for Washington back in the 90s who were just absolutely diehard. You don't even see them in stadiums. You see the other team, literally selling out their stadiums. Look on their Instagram page. They're literally bragging about having games sold out, and I'm literally looking at like, half of their fans are filling up that stadium, and the other half is the other team. Their fans are just so cocky for no reason. They'll talk about how we ended the Eagles streak and we really broke the Eagles so bad that, we are the ultimate curse for why they lost the Super Bowl versus the Chiefs. Stuff like that, petty shit like that. Oh, well, we ended the fucking Ravens. We're streak killers. We ended the Ravens preseason winning streak. They'll get petty like that. Their stadium is a mess. They need a new upgrade. They just need a new stadium altogether. Their team is so horrible. So horrible. Their organization is ran by scumbags. And, this is something that I especially have to point out. There was a story I read about Trent Williams, before he started the Super Bowl a few days ago. There was a story I read where, Trent Williams was close to dying. He had some sort of, cancerous infection on his head or something like that. And Washington, being the scumbags they are, just looked at it as, he'll get over it. There's nothing really wrong with him. We're not really going to treat him. So we're going to treat him just like another civilian who is broke. Kind of like it kind of put me in the Roses by Kanye West feeling, because it makes me feel like, well, damn, how much money does a nigga really need in order to get treatment? This guy's rich as fuck. And the biggest factor in all of this is that he's a fucking human being. He's a human being. You're just going to bypass this as a normal, whatever, he'll get over it. I kind of thought that was really rough on Washington's part. Really, really rough. So I got to put them in a generational curse, as well as the Kaepernick losers, as well as the Bears, the Super Bowl shuffle, Raiders, Al Davis, Titans who are new, and the Joe Namath curse. Now, we are on to the New York Giants. I was talking to Bones before I had this live stream, right before I had this live stream. And I'm going to be very generous to the Giants. They are still relevant. And here's why. Here's why I'm not putting them in the Gen Z still remember me. Obviously, the Gen Zs remembered Brady losing. And then Mulan 2, as I call that Super Bowl, Mulan 2, the not as great as the first Super Bowl appearance, but it's still a classic. But here's the reason why I'm putting them in the still relevant category. And this was a real gem dropper that Bones has pointed out. His team has been in the Super Bowl 5 times. He's won it 4 times. But here's the thing. He pointed out that his team can win a Super Bowl once every decade. Since the 80s, before the 80s even happened, there was a time where the Giants were cursed. Their fans were having paper bags over their heads. There was a dark times. This is why I love the trip with Bones, because, we talked about everything. We talked about history of the Giants, history about the Eagles. We discussed everything. Me and him are tight still to this day. Me and him are tight. But as far as the Giants history, gem dropper. Giants have shown to everybody, they can win once every decade. 1986, that's the 80s. 1990s, that's the 1990 season. The 2000s, you got to go to the 2007 season. And then there's the 2000 teens with the 2011 Mulan 2 Super Bowl, as I call it. Mulan is obviously, everybody loves Mulan. Mulan is obviously 2007. I call y'all 2 Super Bowls, Mulan 1 and Mulan 2. That's how I refer to those 2 Super Bowls. Nobody really remembers Mulan 2. Nobody really remembers the Mario Manningham catch on the sidelines. But as far as the Giants, I think they are definitely still relevant, even though they've been waiting for 12 years. I think this is a very fair, kind of reaching, still relevant team. I think this is the perfect place to put the Giants. I would have put them in the Gen Zs, but at least they have shown they can win every decade. If they keep it going, I don't know. This might be a really good debate of whether to put them in the spoiled or the still relevant category. Factors I would include in this would be, okay, well, they've had some pretty shitty years. And then once out of every blue moon, they have a great one, a fantastic Cinderella moment season. Need to move off of Jones for the 2000s. Yeah, and we were having a discussion about this too earlier, NYG Forever. We were having a discussion about this. We was actually like, oh my God, well, what if the Giants went into 2020s? And I'm like, oh my God, well, I don't know if my heart could take it. Bones is probably one of the most humblest trollers I've ever met. Could you imagine him being unbearable? All of the Giants fans being unbearable, talking all that shit, along with the Cowboys fans. Oh well, we got 5-2. You ain't won shit since. You ain't won shit since, bro. What, 1996? Since 1996, the Giants have won 3 titles. We tied you up. What do you got to say about that, Giants? You were once leading. What do you got to say about that, Cowboys? You were once leading us 5-2. I'm speaking in third person. I'm not a Giants fan. That would be a dream come true for Giants fans. And a nightmare for me because, it's just disgusting talking about the fucking, just talking about the, oh my God, third person Giants fan. Ew! I can't even fathom a day like that. Yeah, I can, because I recently seen it in 2011, 2012 season. And next, we have those disgusting, god-awful team, the most foul, disgusting, vile, this is our year. Oh my God. The Dallas Cowboys. I don't know where to put this team. I'm going to have to take a hit to my vape. That's right, disgusting. It's disgusting. Nobody deserves to lose to the Cowboys. I don't care if you're a Redskins fan. Nobody deserves to lose to them. Ew! This is disgusting. Hold on, okay, I'll put someone in timeout. Do it accordingly. If they are just trolling, then that's Don't time them out for that. You know the rules. Don't time them out for personal. Time them out for personal shit. You know, if they talk about your family or I wish one of your loved ones was deceased, then time them out for that. But anyways, on to the Cowboys. I think I'm gonna put them in the generational curse. I almost put them next to the Panthers. Their generational curse actually started versus the Panthers in the playoffs. I believe it was the 96 playoffs because they went to the Super Bowl in 95, 96. I believe it was the year after they won that Super Bowl. They're kicked off the Super Bowl curse for the Dallas Cowboys. Thank God for that. But as far as the Cowboys, I think the curse, we're going to name this generational curse the Jerry Jones curse. It's obvious. It's obvious. If something doesn't work, he's going to stick with it until it works. That's the definition of insanity. When you stick with something that doesn't work, where you believe in something that just doesn't work time and time again, expecting different results. That's the Cowboys in a nutshell. Yeah. We're gonna name it two names. You know, thank you, Jaguar man. You're the MVP for the day. We're gonna call this the Stephen A. Smith curse because he's been laughing at you for generations. Ever since he started, ever since he watched your last Super Bowl, bro, he's just made it a mission to just laugh at you, humiliate you, your fans, just laugh at all the tears that are coming down your precious eyes. Everybody from Duke Bothers to freaking D-Town to freaking Simus, and I hope he's recovering well. I haven't heard from him in a bit. And sorry, and I would like to make a public apology for putting out that video where I literally buried you. I didn't know you was in the hospital at the time, but I really feel like that apology was warranted because I'm not going to kick a man while he's down in the hospital. So I decided to drop that video and not have that up anymore. So there's the fans part. There's the fans, part of it. You know, we've had people waiting, but let's be real. Do the Cowboys really need it? Oh, I might change this. The time's ticking. I don't know because they're Texas Rangers. Most of them are Texas Rangers fans. At least they've seen something. At least they've seen something. Oh boy, VicTube. I hope you didn't time him out for just trolling. If he's trolling, then whatever. Anyways, damn, where did I leave off? Where did I leave off? Where the fuck did I leave off? Yeah, they just lost. They just won the World Series. Their baseball team just won the World Series. Do they really need a Super Bowl? I think they do. I think they do need a Super Bowl if you're a Cowboys fan. I'm thinking in the Cowboys mindset. If you're a Cowboys fan, you're worried about the Giants who we were just talking about. You're worried about, oh my God, well, we've been worried about them catching up. They're catching up. They got 4. We need to win this. We got to get to where the Steelers are in the spoiled category. If they won, they're automatically going into the spoiled category. 6 Super Bowls, you got to put them in the spoiled category. Then again, still relevant, maybe. Maybe definitely spoiled. I think spoiled. But you're trying to get to where the Patriots are at. You're trying to get to where the still relevant Steelers is at. It's been 30 years. Something's got to give with Jerry Jones. He's got to let go of some sort of power. And he's getting older. His brains are starting to rot. He's pushing 90, literally. What's it going to take for Jerry Jones to give up some power? You got Dak, who gets cold feet in the playoffs. You got a defense who doesn't always show up in the playoffs, but when they do, they're never bailed out by the offense. And when the offense actually bails them out, the defense never shows up. It's like a Jekyll and Hyde. Choose which one is going to have a better day as far as the playoffs go, as far as the Cowboys. And I'm trying to be as fair with this assessment as humanly possible, but God damn, I hate the Cowboys. But I got to be real with you. If the Cowboys win the Super Bowl in New Orleans, they're gonna be right here. Dream it, Cowboys fans. I'm putting you right here for now. If you win your 6th Super Bowl in New Orleans this season, you will be right there with Kansas City and New England in the spoiled category, where you rightfully belong. If you win that, but for now, I'm gonna just put you in the generational curse category. Yeah, definitely. Oh man, shout out to Simon. I'm glad you made it through. You're just in time. Yeah, I had to apologize for making that video. I buried you and all that stuff. I didn't know you was in the hospital. So yeah, that's pretty much my public apology to you. He said, no, it's messed up. Dashy did the same thing. Press unhide, but then, okay, yeah, I got to figure out how to unhide him. But my overall assessment of the Cowboys: get a Super Bowl sometime soon, within the next 5 years, and you'll be up there in the spoiled category. And last but not fucking least, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. I gotta be honest here. I gotta put this. This is gonna come down. I'm not being biased here or anything, but I'm not gonna put them in the spoiled. It's coming down to still relevant and Gen Z still remember me. I'm gonna put them. They've only won one title, so I'm gonna put them in this Gen Z still remember me. The Eagles just simply have to do more. One title, they were so close in Super Bowl 57. So close. Even closer than San Fran. I don't care what no San Fran fan says. We were closer than y'all motherfuckers. Our like I said in my last video, our QB is closer to elite than Brock Purdy is. He was closer to beating Patrick Mahomes than Brock Purdy was. All the chances that Jalen Hurts had in that Super Bowl to beat not Brock Purdy, but Patrick Mahomes, he only had like a 3 and out or 2 in our Super Bowl. Brock Purdy had multiple 3 and outs in that Super Bowl. Multiple. Our quarterback is better, way better than Brock Purdy. You just happen to have a team that was more focused than us. Yeah, you can have your victory. But we're coming for blood next time. Officially make that a rivalry. Philly versus the Niners. But when you talk about the Eagles being on a more serious topic, you think about all the letdowns. Everything, and I'm thinking everything from the freaking Dick Vermeil days all the way to the Nick Sirianni days. Dick Vermeil, you think about a man that has lifted a team that was cursed for 17 years. 17 years after winning the NFL championship over Vince Lombardi. You think about that moment. That he finally made the playoffs with the Eagles in 1978. You think about that moment where, the miracle in the Meadowlands happened that same exact year. Joe Pisarcik. Meet Larry Zonka. Oops, I forgot the football. Meet Herm Edwards. Herm Edwards meet touchdown. Bingo. And that propelled us into the playoffs and hyped us up to get into the playoffs. And then eventually, a couple seasons later, Dick Vermeil leads us to a Super Bowl. Obviously, we get trounced by the Raiders in the Super Bowl 15 to be exact. And there begins our history of so-so seasons where we just never make it past the divisional until we get to the Andy Reid era. We've had shitty coaches. We've had shitty coaches like Rich Kotite, Ray Rhodes. Say what you want about Buddy Ryan. At least he's gotten us a playoff win. Those other coaches were shit. Ray Rhodes, did he get a couple wins? No, did he lose in the wild card those years? We lost in the divisional to the Cowboys in 92. Or 90. No. It was 95. It was 95. We lost to the Cowboys. That was the same year. Out. And I still want this jersey. That throwback jersey. I want the white road jerseys that we wore against the Cowboys at home at the Vet in 95. The Bobby Taylor road jersey where he just took on Michael Irvin one-on-one. He did a hell of a job locking him up for the type of job he did as a rookie. Man, I wish I was competent enough to see those type of games. That was the game where our announcer Merrill Reese, he was like, "He stopped him again! He stopped him again!" That was one of his most famous calls in NFL history, in Eagles history. And then you get to the 2000s. Well, right before it, you get Andy Reid. You get Andy Reid here. People start booing McNabb. And thus came the McNabb Andy Reid era. So, Andy Reid, our team, we could not buy a wide receiver to save our life. We could not get Donovan McNabb a fucking wide receiver to save our life. We were stuck with guys like James Trash, fucking Charles Johnson, Freddie Mitchell, Todd Stinkston, guys like that. We had everything else around him, a great running game. Deuce Staley, Correll Buckhalter, Brian Westbrook over some years. We can never survive with top-tier wide receiver talent. It can never get us over the top. We would always get there, be right there on the edge of getting there. But then T.O. came. He finally came here. We get to the Super Bowl. Now, granted, the entire playoffs leading up to the Super Bowl, we got there without him. I guess that motivated us to break the curse. And then we lose the Super Bowl to the Patriots. More about them later. 4 NFC Championship game appearances in that span in a row. And that was the last time that team has ever repeated as NFC champions. And then we finally get to the late 2000s, the end of the McNabb fucking Andy Reid tenure. We finally get to Arizona. We lose that game in a heartbreaking fashion. I explained that earlier. Go back to the earlier part of the stream if you want to hear my side of the story of that. It was so heartbreaking for me as a high school student to see that. And then we finally, after waiting through the horrible times of the Chip Kelly era, we finally get one out of Doug Peterson. It was a whole lot of time that we had to wait. They just went from literally, I need it now. This was everything. This was literally us from 1933 to now. We need it now. We haven't won anything since 1960. We're on a 58-year curse. But then the Philadelphia Eagles put themselves in the still relevant category in 2017. Over the years, we've been kind of close, made it to a divisional versus the Saints the very next year. Then we kind of fell back. kind of put us back in the Gen Z category. But then, okay, still relevant. You got to the Super Bowl, but you lost. Oh, yeah, you're the best team in the league? No. You're not going back to the Super Bowl twice in a row. We're going to keep you in the Gen Z's still remember me category. But the Eagles have a lot of promise. What from my personal, point of view of how the fans would feel, obviously we would act nuts. We go nuts for our team. We're blue collar. I know this about my city. What would it mean to the city of Philadelphia to win it all again? We'd be closer to Washington. We can brag on teams who only got one ring, like the Bears or the Jets, who haven't won it all since 69. We would have bragging rights over, I don't know, the Saints, the Jets, the Bears. Pretty much it. That's pretty much it. There's a lot of teams with 3 and 4 rings. Oh, I forgot about Seattle. We're right next to them. We'd be right there with the Baltimore Ravens. But bragging rights, saying that we're the best team in the fucking league, once again, that's something I long for. That's something I adore. And I will never forget 2017. Never. And I wouldn't be remiss if I said, I did cry over that Super Bowl. Yeah. Not nearly as hard as Super Bowl 57. That was heartbreak. But just to see you guys who are just in the generational curses and the I need it now's category, that's what the feeling was like. Getting out of that. If you get out of this category, it's gonna really hit you the most. If you're in the I need it now category, you're going to cry. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. You said it, Luca. It was the best day of our lives as Eagles fans. So, with all of that being said, and the amount of fun that I've had with this tier list, where do you think I'm right at? Where do you think I'm wrong at? And question number 2 is, who wins Super Bowl 59? I want to know. I want some answers up in here. And I'm going to keep the tier list up because I want to hear from y'all in case you need to refer back to this. So I'm going to put the StreamYard link in the chat to see if anybody wants to come on here. It's interesting to see. I don't know, man. Like, I think my list is perfect. I think I did a damn good job with this list considering the subjects that I put up there. I think it's a pretty damn good list. I don't know. I think Chicago might be debatable. I don't know. I think Tennessee might be debatable, though. January 14th, 2023. Taking the Chargers soul. That's the best game in your franchise history, in your opinion? I'd say it's up there. I think it's a fair assessment considering you haven't won a Super Bowl yet. I say the Chiefs got a three-peat next year. Man, if the Chiefs three-peat, we might have to be questioning Brady's GOAT status. Ish. I hate to say it, and I know he lost to Brady, but we might be questioning his GOAT status. Appreciate that, Luca. Let's see. Old Jaguars fans would say 62-7 in 2000. Oh, that's the John over Miami. That's hilarious. Yeah, God can't help us with that one. Oh, please, I'm begging you, sports guys, don't let Kansas City win 3 in a row. Kansas City had their moment in the sun. I was proven wrong in that reasons I hate the Kansas City Chiefs video when I said Mahomes would win only 2 in his career. Please don't let them win another one. They're in the spoiled category for a reason, bro. We don't need this. It's just ridiculous how they just won back-to-back already. We don't need them winning 3. And whoever's below that, anybody below that, any one of these 5 teams right here in the still relevant category, any one of those 5 teams that win another Super Bowl, it's just ridiculous. Oh, it's just ridiculous. Either they've won one recently or they have multiple titles. Even though I wouldn't mind, I guess, out of all 5 of those, I wouldn't mind the Broncos out of all of them winning it all, considering the Chiefs won it all, and considering, A-Fizz is a great friend of mine. I rock with Savage Sev and all of them. There's some good people. Duke Bothers needs to make a new Why I Hate the Chiefs video. Yes, that would be classic. I know he's been in his feelings when that's the. I remember seeing him on Facebook. He was like, "Of course, this is what America wanted. This is what the sports gods wanted." I remember him saying something like that. It was hilarious, and I'm just sitting back laughing at the Niners. I'm like, I don't care what you think, Duke Bothers. It came with a cost. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl, but still, as long as the Niners don't win it all, and I'm glad we didn't see it. My Seahawks ain't winning the Super Bowl, not in a few years. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs! Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. A-Bomb.
So you got a lot of shit to say, do you?
Yes, I do. What's up?
Yeah, well, didn't my team end your team's season? Destroyed you so fucking bad you threw in the towel with like 5 games left?
What did it cost you?
What cost me?
What did that win cost you? You seem it just seems like that was your Super Bowl.
Nothing.
It cost you your Super Bowl.
It cost me nothing. What did it cost you?
It cost me nothing. We didn't go.
How many Super Bowls have you seen your team win again?
Yes.
And you'll never see him win another one. You'll never see 5, motherfucker.
We'll see.
So you're upset that I doxed you, right? So my question is, Mr. Morality, why are you talking about my wife like that?
Because
what?
Because
what did she ever do to you?
I didn't.
I've never said anything about any of your fucking people.
Yep.
And that's what you get.
Yep.
You don't like it, you come down to Mobile, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah,
and I'll handle you.
If you think that's necessary, then yeah.
Come on down.
All right.
Let me know when you're here, bitch.
Well, we'll see.
Let me know when you're here. I'll slap you so fucking hard you'll turn white.
But you're so old.
Just like you're inside, you Oreo motherfucker.
But you're so
old. I'm so old, but I'll outwork you any day of the week. I go to work every day. I outwork little bitches like you every day.
We'll see.
Yeah, well, you want to come on down and do something then? Because you'll type that on my phone, but you won't say it to my face. I promise you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fucking pussy.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Let me know when you're here. You got my address, bitch.
Oh, my God. Well, I talked about his wife. Why are you talking about my wife? Why are you talking about my wife? Man, shut the fuck up. He didn't shut me up. A-Bomb really came in here trying to defend his wife. When I was really like, okay, you deserve to be raped by your wife with a dildo for all the dumb shit that you did. Here he is again.
All right, dude. When I come to Atlanta, I'll look you up.
Okay.
I'm not that far away, and I do have a history of knocking on a door.
Okay.
Okay? You're gonna
If you
talk
really think
all
that's
big
worth
and
your
bad
time,
when you're
I
face
really
to
don't have
face.
time for you.
You're gonna be all big and bad when you're face to face with me.
I really don't have time for you.
No, I'll slap the fuck out of you, and you know I will, son.
I don't think you stand a chance.
Nah, boy, you ain't standing no chance. You're a boy. You're a boy. You're
And you're
slit
a
as
girl.
butt boy.
And
You're
you're a
slit
girl
as
who got offended.
girlfriend.
And
You're
you're
a
a
little
girl who got
fag
offended.
staying the night at slit his mama's house.
And you're a
Fat
girl who
bitch.
got offended.
No, dude. I never said anything about any of your people. You want to come on here and pretend you're a class act and all moral and shit? Fuck you. I tell everybody I'm evil, but I don't go after anybody's people unless they go after mine. I'll dox your whole fucking family, bitch. I'll
Do
get
what you
all of
must.
them on Front Street. Do you want those problems?
Do what you must, but you
I'll
can't
do it,
touch me.
motherfucker.
You can't
You want
touch
to
me.
fuck with me like that? I'll get you and your little boyfriend too.
You can't touch me, so
I can do anything I want to you, motherfucker. There ain't shit you can do
you
about
can.
it.
You can, but you
Yeah,
won't.
I can. What do you do? Call the police because you're a pussy?
I don't fuck with the police.
Yeah, you do, you little bitch. You're whiter than I am. Huh? Oreo? Yeah, keep my name out of your fucking mouth.
We'll see. Oh my God. If I'm really worth all that energy, more power to you. Fuck the police. Well, A-Bacon hit the gym, then talk. Yeah, pretty much. It was good to see him on his stream, though. It was good to see him on his stream. Especially after they lost the Super Bowl. God, I love this. If he really thinks I'm worth the time, great. I'm going to move on with my life. Whatever. I'm good. I'm not worried. I'm not scared. He's an old man to me. I am good. I got a bunch of weight. I got a bunch the weight of a bacon wife. What? Whoa. Let's not talk about that. Man's really took that out on him. Yeah. I guess I'm not really talking about his wife so much, I guess. When I said out, I was like, okay, what's really going to hurt this dude is if his loved one did something so horrible to him and she enjoyed it. I don't give a fuck at this point. Whatever. Because everybody has evil moments. I'm not going to let you up here. Everybody has evil moments. Everybody does. Everybody has evil moments. Goodbye. Everybody has evil moments. Whatever. But overall, though, what do you think about my my tier list? I think, is there anything I would change? Is there anything I would change? Would I put? I don't know. Would I put I don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth with the Dolphins, putting them in the generational curse or the time's ticking. I don't know. I think I'm cool with my playlist. Let's wrap it up here. I think this man just done ruined the show. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, you said something about my wife. I said something about your wife. It doesn't mean I said something bad about her. Just to clear things up, I said something bad about you. Wink, wink. Anyways, y'all hit that subscribe button. Y'all hit that like button. I haven't talked enough. Go Birds. Fly, Eagles, fly.